This is the Marshall Miner 3s, and for the last couple of weeks I've been using these for everything from watching videos, listening to music, use them on calls and on meetings, and I even traveled with these internationally and locally. So let's actually talk about these and see what my thoughts are on them. Let's get into it. So taking a look at the Marshall Miner 3s, you have the small carry case with the Marshall logo on the front and the sort of leather simulated look, which for me looks pretty cool, but it also makes it really easy for you to sort of throw around in any sort of bag that you have or in your pocket with all of your other keys or whatever you have, as you won't really see all of the scratches all that much, and even if it does add scratches, it will sort of just blend in with that as well. At the bottom of the case, you do have your pairing button that you can hold down to have the buds enter pairing mode, as well as the USB Type-C port to use to charge the buds as well as the case, but you can also charge the case wirelessly. So if you have a wireless charger, you can simply place the case on it and it will start charging. Or while traveling, I just use my phone to wirelessly charge these to top them up a little bit after each sort of long extended period where I use them. Now the battery on these are actually really good with up to 25 hours, which means you are able to get around 1 to 2 days use out of these depending on how long you use them. And of course, given that you actually give them some time to charge in between, since the earbuds themselves only last for 5 hours and then the case holds an additional 4 charges. Then taking a look at the earbuds themselves, they are matte black with the M on the sides, the sort of textured design at the bottom with some brass accents, which for me look pretty cool and unique. And it also turned a few heads when I was actually using them, and of course people that I know obviously asked me what they are, and they were all pretty surprised at how good these look, but that is of course subjective, so whether or not you like them, let me know down in the comment section below. In terms of internals, you do have Bluetooth 5.2, which will provide a more stable connection between your smartphone and the earbuds, but I do have to add that anytime you're sort of between like 6 and 8 meters or further and you start getting objects between you and your smartphone, usually walls, it does tend to sort of break up a bit, and then you sort of have to go closer again to have them reconnect and be stable again. But that also happens every now and then, and of course, if you have your phone on you at all times or just close enough, then this really is not a problem at all. In terms of codecs, the Marshall Miner 3 support aptX and SBC and has an IPX4 water resistance rating, making them great for use while working out, and they should be fine to also quickly run in the rain if there is some sort of rainstorm or anything going on, as long as you don't just soak them in the rain and they sort of just get these splashes on them, they should be 100% fine. You can also connect them to the Marshall Bluetooth app to get access to some controls like EQ to either any of the presets that they have or change the values yourself as you feel fit. You can also toggle the interaction sounds and change the touch controls, which you can use to play, pause, skip, and go to the previous track with a few custom actions. And I honestly wish that there were some volume features, but for me that isn't the end of the world, and if that is something that bothers you, then these might not be the best fit for you. In terms of sound quality, because these are open fit, you do sort of lose a bit of the bass, and the overall sound for me was leaning a bit more towards the higher end, with the highs being really good and the mids also sort of being more towards the higher end, so you don't have this sort of full deep mid sound. The bass for me was still decent. It isn't as full as you would expect from in-ears that sort of close off the gap or over ears, but it is still something that you can go and crank up a bit in the EQ. So if you want more bass from these, then you can get a little bit more by just changing your EQ settings. For me, the 12mm drivers offers a really good overall sound, and I do find myself picking these up more than I pick up any of my other earphones. Now, from using these for travel and for general use, I can definitely say for general use where you are inside of your house, you're going for a walk, or you're just using these in more quieter areas, these work extremely well. And on our flight to Dubai, I also didn't have any sort of issues using these. But when I traveled locally, this is sort of where these fell apart a bit for me, as the planes themselves are extremely loud. So you do get a lot of that noise leak into your ears. So you do have to crank the volume up of these quite a lot just to be able to watch videos and listen to music. But if you're someone who is subjected to a lot of these like noisier areas, which I am not usually, then the Motive ANCs might be a better choice for you, as they do have active noise cancelling, so they will be able to drown out that noise, and then you'll still be able to watch your videos, listen to your music, listen to your audiobooks, whatever it is that you want to do, and have it be a great experience. I also use these to work out, and I do know that a lot of people might prefer in-ears that fit more snugly with the rubber tips, but for me, I didn't have any sort of issues while lifting weights, walking, or even jogging on the treadmill. But your mileage can vary depending on how big your ears are actually. So because these are open fit, if your ears are larger or smaller, then these could fall out more easily than they did with me. So take that with a pinch of salt, whether or not you can actually use these to work out and go on jogs with. I have also been using these a lot for phone calls, and people haven't been complaining, which is a good thing as long as you are in more quieter areas. These do have noise cancellation where they will cancel out the noise of the environment and boost your voice as well. But as long as you are in sort of quieter areas, I would say this is where they would be best. And as soon as it gets a little bit louder, people do tend to say that the volume of your voice does get a bit harsh. So once again, if you're using these to make phone calls, maybe use them to make phone calls in quieter areas compared to standing in the middle of the street with a lot of cars and a lot of people going around you. Now, in terms of wireless delay, if you're someone that just listens to music or audiobooks, this doesn't affect you at all because there's no visual cue for you to actually see whether or not there is a delay. So if that is your main use case, you're 100% fine using these. Now, when it comes to video content, whether that is watching YouTube videos or your favorite movies or series on your favorite streaming site, for me, there wasn't a noticeable delay between the audio and the video, which is a good thing because that means that you can still use these to watch your favorite movies, series, or YouTube videos, and they will work 100% fine. And I've used these to watch a lot of YouTube videos as well as a lot of series, so I can definitely say that there wasn't a big issue for me. But the biggest problem will probably be with mobile gaming, as these can have a bit of a delay. From other people's tests I have seen, these have quite a bit of a large delay compared to other wireless headsets. So if you are using these or want to pick these up for gaming, then these might not be the best option for you. And if you're just someone who watches videos, listens to music or audiobooks, then you will be 100% fine with picking these up. Overall, for me, I like this style of these earphones, and I personally love the fact that they aren't in-ears, as I personally get fatigued when I use in-ears for extended periods of time, while with these I have been able to use them for longer periods of time and still remain comfortable. I also like the fact that these can be wirelessly charged. Even though I have only used my phone once or twice to charge these, I do like the fact that the option is there for if I go for extended periods of time without being able to charge these, or if I just forget to charge these, then I can just use my phone to top them up a little bit and get more use out of them. The audio quality for me was really good, and if you need something that has a little bit more bass or that has noise cancellation, then the Motif ANCs might be a better choice compared to these. So if you are in areas with a lot of noise, then I would highly suggest looking into either the Motif ANCs or just looking at any other sort of option that has some sort of noise cancellation, as these might not work really well in those situations. But what do you think of the Marshall Minor 3s? Are these earphones that you would pick up for yourself, or are the Motive ANCs more in line with what you need your earphones to do? And then, as always, until next time, cheers.